Hi, so I just found a video by a YouTuber I've watched for a long time, Ozzy Flow, saying that him and a group of other people have recreated the beta of Portal 2. It's the 2009. Um, so that this isn't like 100% accurate, but they will say when things aren't completely accurate. Um, there's developer commentary. I just thought it might be cool to sort of go through this for anyone that wants to watch, doesn't have access to it for any reason. Uh, yeah, let's begin. I briefly listened to one of the first sections, but other than that, I don't know what is in this. I know a little bit about the sort of core hub era and that kind of thing. I'll be letting all of the developer commentary play out, so this may take some time.
I'm Lightrex, and welcome to Project 2009. The goal of this mod is to recreate the entire 2009 campaign accurately, as a sort of digital
I hope
museum
it's not too
experience
quiet.
for Portal 2's development. This means that we did a lot of research and tried to recreate everything exactly the way it looked like, without trying to improve anything or make it look better. These commentary notes will provide more context on the things we figured out along the way, and explain why it's different from what you might expect. There's a lot of them, and they're long, so if you want to turn them off, you can do so at any time by starting a new game. This is a mod we've been researching and working on for the last 4 years, and a lot has happened in that time. Working on it had become a part of our lives, and we met many people along the way. I'm glad to finally get it out, and I hope you like it.
There were quite a few different intros drafted for Portal 2,
Oh,
the
we're
most
Mel.
infamous of which being what is dubbed as the test intro, a test video made in Maya where the player would be awoken in a relaxation vault and taken by a vac tube through the vast backstage of Aperture Science, eventually leading to the relaxation vault from the original Portal. While we know the test intro was used in-game for a time thanks to the presence of an entity whose sole purpose is to play a video on the player's screen, we have more evidence to suggest that the November era of 2009 used a motel, much like the final game. Developer interviews reveal that the motel room in the final game originally contained a mirror in it,
Oh,
to
that's
show
scary.
players that they weren't Chell. This immediately created a time frame of development we weren't aware of, in which Mel had to have existed alongside the motel, which made the decision fairly easy as to what intro we had to depict. We were especially glad to not have to remake the insanely intricate and frankly confusing test intro.
She's got some like leg suspenders. For those who don't know, this is Mel, who was supposedly the character in Portal 2, but they changed it because players were kind of frustrated that GLaDOS didn't recognize you.
Initiating test protocol. Calibrating new test subject. Hello, and welcome to the Aperture Science Computer-Aided Enrichment Center.
I did. Okay, so apparently this mod isn't completely done. There are things missing, like some of the voice acting. Oh, they got that f-stop mechanic thing. Oh, that's cool. Cool, Alright, let's go through. Okay, this is the last piece of commentary I listened to. It's very long.
Over the course of Project 2009's developer commentary, you may hear us refer to many strange terms or names you aren't quite familiar with. We will be assuming that you have a basic understanding of Source Engine terminology, like instances or vscripts for example, or that you are at least capable of researching these terms. But there's a lot that the Portal 2 beta scene use, some of which you won't be able to find meanings for. As a preface, this node will aim to go over some of the most common phrases you might hear us say. Pre-hub refers to the section of the game before you reach GLaDOS, and is an official designation used by Valve internally. We informally refer to the sections after GLaDOS as the post-hub segment to match with this. The Final Hours of Portal 2 is a digital ebook developed by Jeff Keighley about Portal 2's development, having dozens of screenshots and content art for us to pick through. Res lists are a tool Valve used in development to check for unused content, allowing them to scan all the levels at any point in development so that they can generate a list of every model, texture, and sound that every level uses. These are output into .lst and .snd files respectively. Portal 2's files has a massive folder containing 644 of these files, counting for 322 levels total. We are very intimately familiar with Restless, having manually filtered through the noise of engine precache assets and developed a tool named ResLab to make these files more readable for humans. Robot Repair is a VR demo that Valve developed for the HTC Vive, which ran on an earlier version of Source 2. In this demo, the player is a technician working at Aperture Science who would try and fail to repair Atlas from the Portal 2 co-op campaign. Notably, this demo contained remnants of a cancelled Half-Life 3 iteration, but more importantly, remnants created by Valve's buggy Source 1 import tools when they imported the entire internal Portal 2 repository to Source 2. A lot of assets were imported incorrectly from their source files, giving us beta textures like an early Ratman arrow scribble and a version of the faceplate sign based on how it looked at E3 2010.
Oh, that's
These
cool.
textures surprisingly weren't the highlight, however. Left over in the files was a list of everything that Valve imported to develop Robot Repair, including every file they deleted before release. Critically, this revealed the name of thousands of Portal 2 maps we did not have. These map names would come to serve us as inspiration that we could base levels in the post-hub courses off of. Expect a lot of mentions of Robot Repair and Restless from here on, for they acted as some of our only references of 2009 Portal 2's levels.
Oh, that's cool. I wonder how accurate, like, the looks of the rooms are to the beta. I mean, I guess there's no way they could have known, but... I mean, if it did look like this, then Portal 2 definitely had a much more sort of Portal 1 look to it originally. Yeah, also I like that the toilet doesn't actually connect or anything.
Valve seemed really intent on further utilizing the relaxation vault concept early in Portal 2's development. In the video of F-Stop's intro at GDC 2011, a sequence would play out where a lovely, picturesque island scene revealed itself to be fake, before trapping the player in a relaxation vault that would then deliver them to testing.
Yeah.
This idea stuck with the Portal 2 team even once the F-Stop premise was cancelled. As in the final game, the table in the relaxation vault tries to attach itself to a missing lift entity. Given the fact that the cables below the relaxation vault from their first Portal were cut, it was pretty easy to work out that Valve's original vision for the intro of Portal 2 was that the relaxation vault would rise into place.
I might be wrong on this, but she talked about f-stop there, and I'm pretty sure we still don't, like, 100% really know what f-stop was. Like, we've seen examples of it, like the E3 demo she was talking about there, where sort of the picturesque area of the ocean and the beach around you folds up, and then you end up getting just dragged back into hell, basically.
Command standing by in 3, 2, 1.
Okay, so GLaDOS is dead, but I'm guessing it's just going to be reused lines from the actual game. Can I kill myself? No. Oh, it's literally the same chamber, it's just a bit decayed. Portal 1!
Hello, and again, welcome to the Aperture Science Computer Aided Enrichment Center. We are currently experiencing technical difficulties due to circumstances of potentially apocalyptic significance beyond our control. However, thanks to emergency testing protocols, testing will continue. Will provide instructional and motivational support so that science can still be done, even in the event of environmental, social, economic, or structural collapse. The portal will open and emergency testing will begin in 3, 2, 1.
So I'm gonna let, like, a lot of these sections kind of play out, and whenever anything's talking, but I'll interject a little bit here and there. I played this game, Portal 2 was the first game I ever played when I was 7. I played it in this guy's attic called Max.
Cube and button-based testing remains an important tool for science, even in a dire emergency. Good.
Ooh, the physics feel a bit weird. Ooh. Yeah, look, the cube isn't really lining up with Crosshair. This is weird. Okay, what developers gotta say?
For Portal 2 Project 2009, Midway through our development, we switched from a Source SDK 2013 base to a Portal 2 source mod base. This made the game a lot more stable, however, it introduced a lot more accuracy problems, as the game now felt more like Portal 2 retail rather than Portal 1. To remedy these new problems, I developed a server plugin that would attach itself to the game at launch and manually alter how the game worked to give us more control over how the game felt, leading to a number of welcome ports from Portal 1 and restorations from 2009 that we found during our research. One of my personal favorite changes we made with this was bringing back the Portal 1 throwing mechanic. Go ahead and try it out by clicking when holding the cube.
You can throw. I didn't even notice that. Basically, I speedrun Portal occasionally. I do like Inbound's Legacy runs. I think it's called Inbound's no SLA now. But yeah, you can't throw in Portal 2. Can you do a super throw? Yeah, you can. You can super throw. Wow. Okay.
You have just passed through an Aperture Science Material Emancipation Grill, which erases most Aperture Science equipment that touches it. If you feel liquid running down your neck, relax, lie on your back, and apply immediate pressure to your temples.
It does.
You are simply experiencing a rare reaction in which the Material Emancipation Grill may have erased the ear tubes inside your head.
Yeah, this feels very Portal 1. I mean, the blue thing is in the right place. Even the lighting on the doors is correct. Test chamber 1.
Due to events beyond our control, some testing environments may contain flood damage or ongoing tribal warfare resulting from the collapse of civilization.
Ongoing
If
tribal
groups of
warfare is
hunter-gatherers appear to have made this or any test chamber their home, do not agitate them. Test through them.
Okay, so in the release version of the game, you can click a button in this room and it changes it. I know in Portal 1 this room was exactly like quite similar to this. It was arranged differently, but the concept was the same. The portals are changing incredibly fast though.
Included in Portal 2's SDK, an unrelated
Whoa.
elevator instance named Destructed Arrival Soundscape Override Alt contains leftover viz groups from the final game's Chamber 01. These viz groups mostly consist of art removals, some of which date back to this point in development. Using these viz groups and early promotional material for the chamber, we were able to restore its original layout and detailing. Our best theory for how this happened is that the original creator of the instance at Valve made a copy of Chamber 01 sometime in 2010 and simply removed everything except the one soundscape they needed, while forgetting to remove the leftover viz groups.
That was really cool that they gave us like a look at that. Okay, cube. No, wrong one. Does it have the broken cube physics? No, it doesn't. Okay. But basically in Portal 1, even if you have a cube on the other side of a portal, it will appear on the other one once it opens up.
You performed this test better than anyone on record. This is a pre-recorded message.
It's quite amusing. I'm wondering what the calls are going to be like. Oh, okay. This is where you get the
This
portal.
chamber offers no challenge and therefore cannot legally be labeled a test. It is an activity. Simply approach the podium and pick up an Aperture Science handheld portal device. With it, you can create your own blue portals.
Okay, so this is much more similar to the Portal 1 version of this room. In Portal 2, the ground falls beneath you. This is intact. In Portal 1, it shoots through there, which allows you to get through. What if the ground? No, the ground won't fall.
Excellent.
Oh no, it will.
You have lifted the portal device off the podium. This ends the activity portion of today's test. Please proceed to the lift.
Okay, so I've missed that one, so I'm just gonna... I'm gonna also bind 0 to no clip, just in case I need that again.
Just like the final game, the portal gun pedestal was broken, and approaching it causes the floor to collapse, sending you plummeting into the backstage of Aperture Science. We can be certain this sequence existed as far back as 2009 thanks to a whiteboard sketch posted by Josh Weir, lead developer of Portal 2. It depicts a broken chamber floor that will drop the player into what Valve at first dubbed the gallery.
Okay. Yeah, this is literally a gallery. I'm gonna click some of these buttons and then we'll check out that commentary there.
Welcome, friend. Gabe Johnson here, founder and CEO of Aperture Science, the best damn.
Okay, so I'm guessing these are gonna have like 4 voice lines in the final version of this mod.
Applied sciences company on Earth. You may also be asking, Gabe, where am I? When can I leave? Am I in danger? Let me answer them questions with a question. Who is ready for a science adventure?
Setting Cave Johnson's voice like J.K. Simmons, that would be brilliant.
The diorama is a sequence Valve made to try to preserve some of the history they came up with for Aperture during the development of f-stop. According to Josh Weir, the idea was that it would play out a bit like a theme park ride, even including a whole song about Aperture's history. We had 2 screenshots to go off of for this area. However, we also had a third, very low resolution screenshot from the GDC talk that showed a 2010 version when they moved the screenshot to their newly formed Old Aperture section. This third screenshot actually depicts a diorama card texture in the vein of the one you're standing in front of that we had to recreate. Res lists of this Old Aperture version also confirm that there was a third diorama card, which left us scratching our heads for a while as we tried to figure out what it was. We ultimately ended up learning, thanks to a tip-off, that the third one depicted a chicken confused about a portal gun. The diorama was slowly overtaken over the course of development by Old Aperture itself, as the two functionally serve the same purpose of showing Aperture's history. All that remains of the diorama in the final game is the singular trophy case next to Cave Johnson's portrait.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. That doesn't work.
Science isn't about why, it's about why not. Why is so much of our science dangerous? Why not marry safe science if you love it so much? In fact, why not invent a special safety door that won't get you on the way out because you are fired? Not you, son, you are doing fine.
That's an actual Cave Johnson line, so I'm not really sure why they didn't just reuse that.
So, you might be wondering, why you? Simply, you folks get better scientific results than animals. Why? For one, you're tramps, lunatics, foundlings, what have you, can bring problem-solving ability to test environments with a facility that shames lower ruminants. For another, you have thumbs.
By the way, I'm trying to b-hop here, but I don't have like scroll wheel bound, so I'm literally doing it manually, and it's not working very well. Okay, none of these have. So this is like a Ratman thing. You've got to follow it through. I guess this is quite similar to like the final game, because when you fall down, you tube into a big ass fucking Ratman cave.
Also stemming from the aforementioned whiteboard drawing mentioned at the start of this map, the cave was a seemingly small transitional space that connected the diorama to the portal gun room. This whiteboard drawing also labels it as containing cave art. Whether this was referring to the cave having scrollings drawn by Doug Ratman, or there was art of Cave Johnson, we don't know, but it was easiest to just throw some arrow scrollings in.
Yeah, these are very like Portal 1 textures here. I also think like I wonder if these scrollings are like added or these are taken from the files. I mean, like, could be Mel, could be Chell.
One of the few 2009 areas we have screenshots of is the original location for the portal gun pickup in Portal 2. This area was slowly iterated on over the course of Portal 2's development to become the Ratman Den with the murals depicting the history of GLaDOS, but at first had many more scrollings that were difficult to replicate, However, it had to be done, and so in photo editing software, I perspective corrected and traced each scrawling. During this process, we discovered that the screenshot we were referencing was cropped at the sides. The thumbnail for viewing this screenshot in The Final Hours of Portal 2 is more complete and shows a scrawling of a companion cube, which we wouldn't have been able to see in its entirety otherwise.
So, okay, so they did, this is literally from, I mean, the textures aren't ripped, but they're from screenshots. So I want to see, because they said, like, the engine works differently, can I do, like, no, you can't. Right. Is that a saucepan?
In the retail version of this map, we were perplexed to discover a saucepan physics prop hidden under the floor. This prop had seemingly been placed before the floors turned into displacement terrain, and thus was buried and forgotten about. Initially, we believed that this was a remnant from 2009, but upon closer inspection of the screenshot of this room from The Final Hours of Portal 2, we could not find the saucepan. We believe it was added to the game sometime after the screenshot was taken.
Okay. This is very cool. Okay, this bit seems quite similar to the final game again. Ooh, that's weird. That's not even a Portal 1 thing, that's like a Portal 1 beta thing. Do they have the same recipes for the cake? Yeah, all-purpose flour. Yeah, it's there.
Because this message is pre-recorded, the Enrichment Center has no way of knowing if whatever government remains offers any sort of cattle tuberculosis testing credit for taxes. In the event that it does, this next test involves exposure to cattle tuberculosis. Good luck.
Hey, if I don't get tuberculosis.
Multiple pieces of concept art depict a very destroyed version of Chamber 3 from the original Portal. And if you look closely, you can notice that these images are actually paintovers of in-game screenshots. And eagle-eyed researchers have noticed that the observation room window has multiple panes of glass actually removed, which led us to believe that, much like in the final game, you were always intended to enter this chamber from its observation room. When we first recreated this room, we decided to keep the original layout from Portal 1. However, playtesting quickly revealed why Valve chose to redesign this room. With the original layout, you only had to place one portal to beat it, and some playtesters were even getting confused on which direction to go, despite the marked exit sign. Ultimately, we decided to just reuse the final game's layout, but widening its ladder hallway to match leftover geometry found within the map.
Yeah, I did notice that this was different. In like Portal 1, there's stairs that go up here, and it kind of curves around that way as well. I'm just like kind of checking for any secrets as well. Maybe a Ratman den somewhere.
This next test is very dangerous. To help
Oh,
you
this is
remain
literally
tranquil in the
terrible.
face of almost certain death, Smooth Jazz will be deployed in 3, 2, 1.
It's the same song. Yeah, so this chamber is literally exactly the same as Portal 1 pretty much, other than some debris.
Portal 2's own developer commentary confirms that the joke of smooth jazz was one of the first added to the game. But it didn't actually use the smooth jazz that you hear in the final game. The original smooth jazz track that Valve utilized was a snippet of Together Again by Dave Koz. It was actually what we used at first. We even have the direct snippet Valve used, as it's left over in the files of Robot Repair. However, you're not hearing Together Again in Project 2009, as we feared people's inevitable recordings of Project 2009 ending up copyright claimed or even outright striked. We did not feel like tempting fate with the hell that can be music copyright law.
Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you very much, Ozzy. So I just noticed, I'm pretty sure like the pickup lightning looks different on the portal gun. I might be wrong there. And you also can't do rock climbing, but I kind of expected that.
At the time of this recording, federal disclosure policies require us to inform you that this next test is probably lethal, and to redirect you to a safer test environment. We will attempt to comply with these now non-existent agencies by playing some more smooth jazz.
Oh, they do more smooth jazz. So yeah, a lot of these levels aren't in Portal 2. Or the full release anyway. So they really had a lot of the Portal 1 levels in the beta just destroyed. I think this bit of the level is in... Yeah, no, this is in Portal 2 because this is collapsed in Portal 2 and you can walk straight up. Oh no, it's not collapsed, it's when you land on it, it collapses, I think. And then there's a Ratman Den around about here in Portal 2. I also find it interesting that the elevators are Portal 1 elevators. So they didn't have the Portal 2 elevators we ended up with in this stage. Oh, this is
In
Chamber
order
7.
to ensure that sufficient power remains for core testing protocols, all safety devices have been disabled.
So we...
The Enrichment Center respects your right to have questions or concerns about this policy.
So we've skipped Chamber 6 because I suppose because there's no energy pellets in this game. So the thing was, in Portal 1 you could really easily get to the end of the chamber by going like this. So you can here as well. I'm guessing, yeah, it just doesn't open. So yeah, you're supposed to go over there. Let's see what they got to say.
Chamber 07 in the final game is unsolvable due to its broken pellet launcher, instead acting as a location for when you meet back up with Wheatley, and requiring you portal into a different test chamber that says it's Test Chamber 08, but straight up isn't. The singular screenshot we have of 2009's Pre-Op 07 shows that the pellet launcher was already destroyed, and that the indicator line linking the catcher to the unstationary scaffold was most likely glitching in the same way as the final game's one. We just went with having Chamber 07 act as a small stop in the lead up to Chamber 08.
So yeah, there's an invisible wall here, by the way. I was just trying to get in. Oh, we got Chamber 8. So there is pellets here. I wonder if it's solvable, like you solve it, like you can solve it in Portal 1, which is just kind of like... Nah, that's much more difficult in this version. Oh, I think I missed that. Uh-oh.
A cold hard fact we know about Test Chamber 08 was that the entire thing was tilted. The robot repair file listing says that 08 was created and then a tilted version was made. So what degree Chamber 08 was tilted, we don't know. But we decided that it couldn't have been too extreme.
I mean, yeah, it is tilted. It's kind of, I can see why they didn't like tilt chambers like this though. It's actually quite disorientating.
Excellent. The Enrichment Center reminds you that bold, persistent experimentation is the hallmark of good science.
Seeing these elevators in Portal 2 is very strange.
In the event that the Enrichment Center is currently being bombarded with fireballs, meteorites, or other objects from space, please avoid unsheltered testing areas wherever a lack of shelter from space debris does not appear to be a deliberate part of the test.
Oh, so you can't shoot one under the door in Portal 2 because it's like a full thing. In Portal 1, you can just bang right there.
Chamber 09 was one of the surprising few pre-hub levels that we actually had a res list for, named SP_intro_08.lst. Despite the numeric difference, we can confirm that this was the same level as it contained the model for Test Chamber 09's sign. Something rather shocking we learned from this resource listing was that Valve actually maintained continuity with the first Portal game, as this level did not load the intact version of the Cube Dropper hatch, meaning it started already destroyed. If you recall, Chell utilizes this Cube Dropper on Portal 1 during the escape sequence, wherein, upon landing on it, the hatch bursts open. While Portal 2's final version naturally drifts away from having little continuity details like these as more and more people worked on the game, it's a pleasant surprise to see that the Portal 2 team planned for it to even begin with.
That's actually really cool because you drop out of this tube that you can see up there. I wonder if the tube goes anywhere. Nah, it doesn't. I mean, I didn't expect it to. I thought it just might be cool. Wait, there's a cube. Oh yeah, I think that's the teleport cube. Every oh no, those are the teleport cubes. Every level in Portal 2 has these cubes down here. If you fly into them, it will go to the next or the previous chamber. Say on the clipboard. It's the same clipboard as Portal 1. It's the subject number. Oh god.
This very specific corner has quite the reputation within the development team for P2009. A screenshot of it was taken and utilized for paintovers when Valve was beginning to work out the finer details of the dilapidated look of Aperture Science. One of these base screenshots was, in fact, depicting this very corner within Chamber 09, which meant that it was necessary for us to recreate it in Project 2009. This responsibility fell to me in particular. What I thought would be a simple process was something that proceeded to take over about 3 years of my life, for its simplistic nature held many complex nuances that needed to be matched exactly. From the very shape of the ceiling hole to ensure the orange lighting cast into the test chamber with the correct form, to the coloration, intensity, and angle of the nearby observation room's lighting, there was much blood, sweat, and yes, even tears that went into recreating this single, incredibly uninteresting corner.
Well, you did.
While I eventually managed to pull through, thanks to the discovery that Chamber 09 partly reused the Chamber 01 ceiling destruction, this specific level has the most tracked versions out of any in our internal repository, being the only level that was carried through our development reboot when we switched from SDK 2013 to Portal 2's engine.
Oh, cool. So, Chamber 10 is next. I wonder if it'll actually have Chamber 10, because Chamber 10's an interesting one in the original Portal. Yep, it's Chamber 10.
This next test applies the principles of momentum to movement through portals. If the laws of physics no longer apply in the future, God help you.
So yeah, you can do quite a lot of things in this to speed up the level on the original Portal. It won't be possible in this because you can't ABH.
Much like the last chamber, this map is another one of the few pre-hub levels that we actually have a resource listing for, in the form of the res list SP Intro 07. Despite seemingly coming before Chamber 9, we were able to confirm that this is in fact Chamber 10 from Portal 1, due to the presence of its respective sign at the start. One unique thing about this map in particular is the shocking amount of unique foliage assets that appear,
Yeah, there's a lot.
mostly taken from Half-Life 2, something that isn't commonly found in really any Priya media that we have, with most of them only having a single fern here or there. Due to this, we came to the conclusion that Valve originally intended for the chambers to become progressively overgrown as you proceeded through them, culminating at the last 3.
Yeah, I've noticed that they're becoming more degraded as we go through. I wonder if you can do the skip in this. Hold on. Yeah, you can.
A screenshot of Pre-Op 10's exit shows nearly the entire dirty metal wall set that was used in 2009, but surprisingly, there seems to be a missing variant. The texture used to depict 64-unit wide tiles lacks a dirty version, instead using the base clean version. This can be seen in earlier screenshots of other chambers, such as earlier versions of Chamber 12, indicating a dirty version of this texture may not have existed at this time.
Yeah. Oh, okay, we've skipped Chamber 11,
If
which is
you
where
are
you
a
get the dual portal
non-employee
device.
who has discovered this facility among the ruins of civilization, remember, testing is the future, and the future starts with you.
Yeah, so you would usually get the dual portal device before this chamber in the original portal, but I guess since you don't get the dual portal device until the cold boot in Portal 2, maybe it was to come later.
For those who have played Portal 1, you might be wondering where Chamber 11, the dual portal device introduction, went.
Yeah, that's
Originally,
what I was saying.
we did include a beat-up version of the chamber, however, it was later removed due to evidence arguing against its existence. In Portal 2, the chamber did not appear anywhere in the final game, nor did it show up in any concept art. Additionally, in the instances folder containing the pre-up chambers, Chamber 11 could not be found. Instead, evidence suggests that the current chamber, Chamber 12, was where the player received the dual portal device at this point in development. In all the screenshots and concept art of the chamber, the starting area has a strong Ratman presence, with many of the screenshots showing arrows leading down into the first fling pit, and a quick doodle of a portal gun on the wall is visible in the oldest piece of concept art, which drove us to come to the conclusion that you originally received the dual portal device here.
Seems like a reasonable conclusion. Yeah, so what the fuck? That just looks weird. Let me have a look at that. Oh no, it's just a weird reflection. Yeah, we got dual portal device now. Those little cameras, maybe it was a Ratman thing, like collected all the cameras that we broke in Portal 1, because I suppose if like Shell canonically 100% in the game, then she would have broke all the cameras. Ratman could have collected them, I guess. I tried to do the super throw, but it's not happening. Been playing a lot of like Counter-Strike stuff.
Good work, future starter. That said, if you are old, simple-minded, or cripplingly irradiated in such a way that the future should not start with you, please return to your primitive post-apocalyptic tribe and send back someone better qualified for testing.
A lot of these lines are said by the announcer in the final game. Also, I just noticed that the portal gun texture is like different. It's a lot more degraded than Portal 2. Okay, this is Chamber 13.
If
So
the
it
Earth
really-
is currently governed by a manner of animal king, sentient cloud, or other governing body that either refuses to or is incapable of listening to reason, the Enrichment Center will compensate you for any retribution you may suffer as a result of performing this next test.
Yeah, so a lot of these lines are the announcer's lines, but I didn't know that originally it was supposed to be GLaDOS saying the lines. Oh wow, this is fucking annihilated. That's very cool though. Oh, hello. Wait, if that bounces in, okay. If that had bounced in, that would have been insane. I honestly can't believe they had this many. Oh, whoa. Whoa. Okay. Yeah, I can't believe they had this many of the Portal 1 chambers in the beta of Portal 2. Honestly, it seems kind of ridiculous. I'm glad that they didn't keep this many. There's lots of areas here. I wonder if you can you actually open the door, or is it designed for you not to be open? That's kind of cool. So you can activate that one. Oh, you can totally do this. Yeah, if I just... Because the inside of that door is white. At least... Oh. Oh, no, the button doesn't activate. Okay, so it is impossible then. So I've got to use this somehow. That really looks like the run to Gladys's chamber. That is, I'm pretty sure. Oh, I get it. Nope. Okay, this is sick. Wait, did I miss something in that last level? I hope not. Anyway, this looks very similar to where you take Wheatley after you pick him up. I'm pretty sure I did miss something in that last level. Balls. Oh well.
Pre-recorded observation. You have left the testing environment.
Is it possible to get back? I would really like to. Oh. Oh, I'm doing this all wrong. I'll just edit this out. Okay, yeah, so if I go map P29 underscore prehub underscore 13. Oh. Okay, yeah.
If the Earth is currently governed by a manner of animal king, sentient cloud, or other governing body that either refuses to or is incapable of listening to reason, the Enrichment Center will compensate you for any retribution you may suffer as a result of performing this next test. if the Earth is currently governed by a manner of animal king, sentient cloud, or other governing body that either refuses to or is incapable of listening to reason, the Enrichment Center will compensate you for any retribution you may suffer as a result of performing this next test.
This chamber went through a lot of iterations because there was a lot of debate about how you were meant to escape it. Originally, we believed you'd need to portal through a small crack in the wall to reach an area out of bounds. We tried many things to get this to work, such as adding lights, making the light flash, adding sounds and sparks, but no matter what we did, the main chamber was just too visually complex for playtesters to notice. So we ended up moving the solution to escaping into the chamber itself.
Okay. Well, I'm glad I went back just to find that. Cool.
Pre-recorded observation. You have left the testing environment.
That was a Portal 1 core that just flew by. Yeah, look, it's a curiosity core. There's turrets as well, that's to be expected. I wonder where it goes. Does it just loop? It feels like there should be dev commentary here. This is the burn pit from Portal 1. This is where you escape in the original game. Can you not escape? Did I not place that line? Okay, no, I'm just done. That's where I came from. What? Seriously, where am I supposed to go? Oh, do I go backwards through the chamber? Yeah,
Well done. The Enrichment Center reminds you that
Although circumstances may appear bleak, you are not alone. Please note that this is not a guarantee, as you may, in fact, be the last man or woman on Earth.
Okay, so yeah, this is the same way it goes in the final game. Yeah, so you do Chamber 19, which is this one, backwards in the final game. It's interesting you go straight from 13 to 19. This is the point in the game where GLaDOS tells you that she's been stuck in like the quick save loop kind of thing. That meant she was forced to relive her death over and over again. Yeah, doesn't it?
After leaving the Overgun section of Portal 2, Valve needed to connect the old Portal 1 chambers to the destroyed GLaDOS chamber. In retail, this is a short behind-the-scenes segment of Wheatley, going through the old V-scripts of Portal 2. Leftover references to GLaDOS speaking to the player in a broken test chamber can be found, along with a reference to an out-of-bounds section. This led us to believe that the connection between the prehab chambers and GLaDOS was much longer than the version seen in the retail game. For the broken chamber, we used Chamber 19 from Portal 1, as the destroyed piece of Chamber 19 as present in Portal 2 has leftovers of an older 2009 era iteration.
Okay.
Leaving the testing environment may be interpreted as an indication that you think you no longer require testing, and, in fact, know everything.
An
Even
indication
seen
you
as
know
arrogance on
everything.
your part. Stop now, and take a moment to think about how your actions could be perceived by others before returning to the test chamber.
The GLaDOS lines are interesting. Oh, beans. Does the beans have a different texture? Yeah, so the beans in Portal 2, all the cans are open. It's a closed can of beans. Also, in the final Portal 2, you go straight through here and through that door as, like, sections from the wall retract. Just double check there's nothing. Yeah. Whoa. What the fuck is that? Is that supposed to be a skylight that just isn't turned on? Oh, this is the Black Mesa room. So this is in Portal 1. This is like pretty much the only piece of lore that like connected the two things. That and GLaDOS was saying that like a lot has changed on the outside since the last time you were there. I wonder if you can break windows in this version. Doesn't seem like it. Not cruelty, not in wrath. The Reaper came today, an angel visited this grey path and took the cube away. Yeah, so this is Doug Ratman's story. Why? What does this say? Because for death, the cube had food. I don't know. Something about their ammo. It's probably him getting shot by the turrets, which eventually led to him putting Shell to the top of the list. What the fuck is that? Okay, I don't want to go through there in case I get trapped. I just want to check it. Oh, which way do I go? Oh my god, there's so much here. Okay, so yeah, that is the GLaDOS chamber that I was seeing earlier. So, I want to check out what this room back here is real quick. Wait, what? I'm not incorrect in saying there was just a room there, right? Did I miss it? What the? Okay, I'm gonna reload this map because I want to know what's here. If I can just find the map name. Okay, I'm gonna scroll down. I wish there was a recent save so I could go back, because there was a room there. If I go... Okay, so maybe this is the hub stage. Okay, yeah. Okay, so yeah, this is the commentary version, actually. So I went back to check out what the fuck this room is. Okay, you literally can't do anything in this room. I wonder what it is. Maybe... Oh. Oh. Oh my god. Whoa. Yeah, it doesn't like that. Interesting. Whoa. Okay, so this is the hub. So how many fucking cores is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 fucking cores, okay.
This area is the titular room of Portal 2's Core Hub era, being what we presume was a place you return to after each course to deposit a personality core. The reason why I went here, rather than somewhere inside GLaDOS' chamber, was 2 reasons. 1. The Portal 2 team extended the office hallway past where there was a wall in the first portal for seemingly no reason. 2. A leftover trigger as you approach GLaDOS' hallway tries to close a world portal door that no longer exists as of the final map. Combining these 2 facts, it just seemed like the most logical conclusion to place the core hub here. If you've played a lot of Portal mods, you may have caught that we've just stolen an entire area from the Flash version map pack. Why is that? Well, it's because Valve would do this too. A screenshot of the pre-GLaDOS hallway reveals that the door you emerge from here was made inset, which wasn't the case in Portal 1. We suspected that the door was one you emerged from, but if that's the case, it should be using the door prop, which it clearly wasn't, due to the lack of a door handle. When trying to rationalize why, a conclusion was reached. Even after Valve finished Portal Still Alive, which had levels based on the TFV map pack, Robot Repair reveals they pulled the original TFV maps all the way into Portal 2's repository.
No.
The Flash version map pack has a sliding door appear in its escape sequence, which ended up being a 1-to-1 perfect match with the screenshot. We used this information to also toss in the preceding TFV area, as it sounded like a rational shortcut that Valve would have taken. We will be talking about Still Alive in more depth later.
So yeah, those who don't know, this is like the core hub room. It's the main area of what it was supposed to be in the core hub era, where you collect all the cores, put them back in this room. Yeah.
Visible in the screenshot of the core hub is a still of this video playing on the monitors. The file for this video still exists in the final game, a vertical variant of which can be seen playing in some elevator rooms. But sometime after 2009, Valve's artists overhauled the color palette into a fittingly modern Aperture-esque minimalist blue and white. Mercifully for us, one concept piece of Portal 2's box art prominently featured a frame of the 2009 version with its original coloring intact. So with the original color palette on our hands, all that was left to do was recolor the video. Or at least, we would have, if the video file wasn't 640 by 400 pixels and heavily compressed to save on disk space. any attempts to flood fill or mask out parts of the video produced visible artifacting that would require manual labor to clean up, an unappealing proposition, given this process would have to be applied to each of the video's 168 unique frames. Plans to recreate each frame as a clean, resizable vector image was immediately shot down for similar issues regarding the insane amount of manual labor required. If we wanted to include the video in our Core Hub remake, which naturally we did, we'd have to remake every frame of the video from scratch, but with as much automation as possible. So, we remade the video in 3D using Blender, starting with matching the camera perspective of the original video and then projecting frames off the video into 3D space to recreate, align, and animate every component of the scene as close to the original animation as possible. The best part was that this process was completely non-destructive. On top of being able to render the frames at any resolution we wanted, any tweaks the team requested to the colors or animation could be implemented quickly, with Blender churning out the updated rendered frames in an hour or two. It wasn't fast, but far faster than repainting each frame by hand. The Core Hub video is perhaps the most overkill ARA asset produced for P2009, especially given how few players will pay attention to it. But it was wholly worth it for the shared feeling of excitement when we saw the video play in game, knowing the last missing piece of our Core Hub recreation had finally been restored.
So, I don't know if you can see this in my video, but there's a little bit of lag whenever I look at this door. I think it's because this is actually a portal. Not that, sorry, like this door. Because if you go out of bounds, you can see there is nothing there. It doesn't connect. It's here. Or not? Yeah, so it doesn't actually connect up, it's a portal area. If I go out here, and then... Yeah, I didn't think there'd be anything there. So yeah, they don't connect up together. Anyway, let's carry on. No grills here.
You have reached the central core of the Aperture Science Genetic Life Form and Disk Operating System. Pre-apocalypse, this would have been an act of criminal trespass and an opportunity for you to go to prison. As it is, however, this is a rare opportunity for you to become an honorary Aperture Scientist. Do you see a power object? The Enrichment Center invites you to pick up the power object and plug it in. Something will happen. Something wonderful.
I remember seeing the pictures of this corpse version of GLaDOS. It is very cool to see corpse GLaDOS here. Wow, the people who made this did a really good job.
If you've been following research on Portal 2's cut content ever since the major push to delve into the 2009 iteration of the game, you'd be shocked to find that we only feature 5 total courses in Project 2009, despite it being well established that this version of the game had 6 cores for 6 courses. When we looked closer at the paintovers Valve produced for the hub in order to recreate it more accurately, we realised that there are only, at most, 5 doors present in the hub. This 6 course figure appears to have been an idealised goal rather than the amount actually created. Given that one of the planned courses was potentially going to be dedicated to the pneumatic diversity event, a testing element that Valve did not seem to do much with beyond the chambers shown off in the 2010 E3 demonstration, this was ultimately the most faithful move to make.
Yeah, so the pneumatic vent that they were talking about there is actually something that's kind of used in the co-op mode. You can kind of move stuff around with it. In fact, co-op was what this hub was kind of reused for, or at least the hub idea. Because in co-op you kind of return to that central hub.
Thank you for reactivating your Enrichment Center Test Supervisor. Aperture Science is grateful for your help. Reactivation in 3, 2, 1. Critical modules online. Running environment scan. Main grid system, offline. Emergency systems, offline. Backup power source located. Available test subjects. 1. Environment scan complete. Setting up core protocols. Core protocols are non-functional. Uploading personality program. Warning, personality program is 89% corrupted. Continuing may cause instabilities. Wake up protocol completed. Welcome to the Aperture Science Enrichment Center. Let's get to know each other. How are you? I am not crazy. This water cooler water is excellent. Well, enough small talk. Let's test.
Hey. Is there a bug somewhere? What the fuck? That'll never get old. Whoa, that is a weird laser redirection cube. What the why is it so small? Oh, so they've reused the orb catcher as like a laser scepter? They've just shrunk it down. That's interesting.
The first chamber of the laser course is the level that we affectionately refer to as Single Laser. We have tons upon tons of screenshots of it, and it was used for a lot of press demos in 2010, and even features in the Portal 2 teaser trailer, as the room that begins reconstructing itself into dual lasers. Due to its simplicity, and stylistic similarities to the rest of the post-sub chambers that you'll see later, we knew very early on that it was almost certainly a perfect fit.
Oh, it's this chamber! Okay, so in the final version of this chamber, in the cold boot, there is a Ratman Den right here that has a... what the fuck? I wonder what these do. Okay, that's odd. But yeah, there's a Ratman Den there in the final version. Plays Exile Vilify by The National on one of the radios in there.
A screenshot of 2009 Dual Lasers features in a multiplayer test screenshot shown at GDC 2011. This screenshot is erroneously labeled as being of the cut football game mode, but visible in the image, however, is an incredibly primitive design of the redirection cube, and it truly embodies the definition of placeholder art, focused more on getting the idea across rather than being a design to be finalized.
Yeah.
We have lovingly recreated this placeholder model for you to now stare at. Enjoy.
Staring at it, bro. It's ugly, but hey. Okay, I want to check something. Yeah, so it is. It is. It shoves you in. Okay, yeah, I was wondering what was going on there.
Yes, get your jokes out of the way. It's the funny crazy How chamber. The entities in Triple Laser all have a strange consistent phenomenon in which there's constant reference to this being a new version of the test chamber, except for one mention of an old laser. We still don't know for sure what this means. However, two possibilities emerge. Either Triple Laser was going to be styled like a reconstructing level, where it was split in half between destroyed and clean, or that there was a version of Triple Laser so bad that Valve did their best to completely obliterate it. We don't have anything leaning towards either theory. However, we have seen a whiteboard sketch dedicated to the laser course, where faintly visible in the corner was a fragment of Triple Laser's layout, which is an additional bit of confirmation that the level existed this far back.
So, this comes much later, usually, in Portal 2 than the last chamber that we were in. I think it's one of the first chambers that's fully repaired. GLaDOS says a line like, the facility is looking pretty good. Oh, in this chamber, Hoobie the Hoop is stuck. Hoobie the Hoop's still stuck in the floor! Hell yeah!
In the robot repair map listing, there exists a peculiar
Wheatley
folder
also
dedicated
comes
to the
out
map
there.
you are currently playing a recreation of, P2 Lab Lasers 1. The folder contains the aforementioned map alongside various simple map names like Arms and Relays and Triple Laser. This is actually evidence of the original map using a rarely mentioned hammer feature called manifests. Manifests are more or less parts of a map split into smaller files, which are all located inside a folder named after the main map. These parts of the map can be checked in and out like books at a library by Valve, allowing a single map to be worked on simultaneously by multiple people. The feature was only ever used during Portal 2's development for the laser course, used to work on each puzzle separately. For example, the chamber you are currently in was the manifest Raised Stairs. After Valve scrapped the courses, each chamber was put into its own map, eliminating the need for manifests.
Interesting. See, this chamber comes earlier than the one we just did, usually. GLaDOS tells you that you're going too slowly after you complete it, I think. This kind of folds out as you come out the door, and that is not in the same position that it is in the final game.
While we didn't replicate the original test intro, it still showed us many valuable sights. Like for instance, the player going through this chamber inside of the vac tube, which revealed to us two major things. Firstly, Valve had changed the unstationary scaffold to use a much bigger platform model compared to its Portal 1 iteration. And secondly, the cube dropper region used to be a lot lower than in the final game, requiring the player to portal up to the scaffold. This adds an extra step of complexity to the puzzle involving portal management, which may be why it was cut.
I've always been terrible in this chamber. I was kind of confused there. Oh, okay, so in the final version of this map, there is a turret here, and a Ratman that you can get into just about here, where there's the opera turret singing. Balls. I'm noticing that all these maps are kind of in a weird order. So yeah, this is the second point where you see Wheatley. He comes out the wall just here.
This level would retroactively be made into Portal 2's obligatory companion cube chamber, but more significantly, the lift platform used to be in a different spot, and was promptly moved over by Valve to make the bespoke panel animation they eventually added more obvious. The geometry for the original piston pit was never removed though, which made this a quick and easy restoration.
They never removed the original geometry. Ah. Oh, yeah. So the Fizzler works on this one. This is the only level in the final game where it doesn't have a Fizzler, and if you take the cube through, the companion cube, it just gets fizzled immediately. Whoa. Okay, this... I kind of know what this level is, but this is a very strange version of the level. I'm guessing that these are nodes that you've got to put the laser into. Yeah, they are nodes. Okay. So it's just a placeholder for the nodes in this one.
Laser relays are a curious case when it comes to their 2009 appearance. While we had photographic proof that laser emitters and catchers use scaled-down pellet launcher and catcher models, we had no clue how, at first, Valve would have depicted relays. That was until we came across two very interesting res lists. MP_co-op_laser_3.lst and MP_co-op_laser_bypass.lst. These two levels had the fascinating anomaly of loading both the final laser emitter model and the pellet launcher. What gives? The answer was simple. It had to mean that Valve also used pellet launchers on prototyping relays, so that's how we've decided to depict them. For some additional flair, we also made them spin upon activation, as the final relay models similarly spin upon activation. Look at them go.
Look at them go indeed, they look goofy. Okay, this test chamber is not in Portal 2. Everyone I've done so far, I've recognised. I do not recognise this chamber. This is completely new.
We knew the general theme of this chamber thanks to a whiteboard drawing shared by Josh Weir, which labelled it as Super Redirect. Unfortunately, the drawing did not include any details beyond this name, so we were left to interpret the actual design of the chamber. Our original version had 9 floor relays arranged in a pattern, and required players to redirect one laser through all of them, with only 3 redirection cubes. Playtesters found this design confusing, and this chamber became notorious during development for being extremely difficult, with many playtesters getting stuck on it for over an hour. Needless to say, it was as painful for us to watch as it was for them to play, and we ended up reworking the chamber several times before it became the version you see here, which introduces a platform, gives you an extra cube, and reduces the number of laser relays that need to be activated.
Oh, okay, so this isn't the one that they did. Why didn't they just put in the actual one? You don't have to make it easier, this is a recreation. Also, you can do this with less cubes than... Oh no, you can't, okay. Wait, so this is completely pointless? This, like, whole up and down thing is just pointless? Because you just put it there. I don't recognize this either. Wow, that's really bouncy. I wonder if this is like a leftover from the football thing that's supposed to be in the game. Bottom fangle cracked. Flangle? What the fuck's a flangle?
We've known that the laser core seemed to have a pretty developed escape portion at the end of it thanks to robot repair, but it was incredibly difficult to agree upon what said escape portion entailed. This was until we stumbled upon a really bizarre res list named SP_tube_blockage. Tube blockage had all the hallmarks of a 2009 level, with tons of textures and models used that fit the era, ones that were also used for the post-up design and also the 2009 design for Aperture's backstage. Using this res list, we worked out some potential connections, like the prospect that Valve reused the still-alive Cube Dropper flame due to a breaking Cube Dropper, and worked it out as an ending sequence for the course, where you would leave the testing track to jump ahead, and find the personality core responsible for it.
Okay, so you're supposed to leave the testing track? How? Like, yeah, like that, I suppose. I was getting very confused there. I'm gonna take the ball. The very, very, very bouncy ball. Just quickly, I'm gonna check if there is actually anything on the other side of this. No. Okay, so you aren't supposed to go that way. Let's take this ball. invisible wall. There's a lot of invisible walls going on there. That just gets fizzled, alright. These outbound sections are so Portal 1.
If you've been paying attention, you may have noticed a strange trend with the derelict test chambers, where they seem to suddenly swap to a different texture palette, evoking Portal 1's design. We believe this may have been a conscious decision on Valve's part, as an entire new set of wall textures was made based on an unused Portal 1 wall texture called Gradient 00.
What the fuck did I just do? I didn't mean to do that. I somehow glitched myself into the floor.
If you've been paying attention, you may have noticed a strange trend with the derelict test chambers, where they seem to suddenly swap to a different texture palette, evoking Portal 1's design. We believe this may have been a conscious decision on Valve's part, as an entire new set of wall textures was made based on an unused Portal 1 wall texture called Gradient 00. The floor and ceiling textures from Portal 1 were even given slight modifications in Portal 2, which further lends credence to the new texture palette. We have debated as to whether or not the whole game at some point used to use this set, but given we're recreating the final months of 2009, both interpretations could lean true, with these derelict chambers simply having not gotten updated yet.
Oh. Okay, that's a curiosity core. Let's just check if there's anything down. What the fuck? Oh, so that's what that weird room was for. It's like a teleportation thing back to the hub. Oh, okay, that makes sense.
What's that noise? Hi! Is that a gun?
Yeah, those are literally the
what's
same
wrong with your
lines
legs?
from Portal 1.
Longtime fans of the Portal 2 beta scene may be shocked to find that we don't have the Morgan Freeman sphere at the end of the laser course. This was not a mistake. When compiling the evidence for what personality cores would have featured in 2009, we realized that Morgan had a much better place elsewhere in the game, freeing up the laser course to depict a defenseless Curiosity Sphere from the first game. We chose specifically the Curiosity Sphere due to the presence of a new folder in Portal 2's files for this sphere. All that exists is a simple
Hi!
ripped directly from one of the voice lines from Portal 1. To us, this sounded like Valve had a little sequence of the Curiosity Sphere responding to the player's presence, which would make sense for the first core that you'd meet.
You. What is that? Oh, what's that?
Yeah, the voice lines are literally the same.
What is that? Oh, that thing
That's
has
so
numbers on it.
cool!
Look at that thing.
Whoa. So wait, what if I click place ball now? So it's a sack. Whoa. That's really cool.
What's that noise?
We needed a way to get the player back to the hub after completing the course. An elevator seemed ridiculous given the sheer horizontal distance travelled, and a vac tube would have required messing with physics. But there was an easy answer sitting in the palm of the player's hands. What if we just used portals? Earlier versions used a simple auto portal setup, like the ones found in the Relaxation Vault and Beginner Test Chambers, but the spotlight was eventually shone on a weird quirk about the portals in Portal 2. For some reason, Valve added the ability to change their size, being able to freely alter their width and height. There is even a dedicated command for turning the portals from smaller ovals into larger circles, called Portal 2 Square Portals. Thanks to a small tip-off from an internal source, the obscure addition of portal resizing, and a strange res list named Background Menu, we were able to interpret that Valve created these bizarre giant portals as a way of representing long-distance, intra-facility travel in Aperture Science.
That thing has numbers on it. Hey, look at that
That's
thing.
really cool.
Yo, Yo, what's wrong with your legs? Where are we going? Oh hey, you're the lady from the test.
I
Hi.
sure am.
What's that noise? Is that a gun?
Is that open?
Where are we going?
Just double checking it.
Oh, what's in here?
Yeah, this leads all the way back to like where we came from originally. How far will it let us go? Whoa, a long way.
What's in here?
Jeez, I
Who
forgot
are
the
you?
annoying curiosity
What
spheres.
is that? Oh, what's that? What's that?
So is it not gonna get
What is
visible?
that? That thing has numbers on it. Hey, look at that thing. No, that other thing. Yo, what's wrong with your legs? Where are we going? Are you coming back?
Core accepted. Please return to the main chamber.
Whoa, okay.
Starting from this moment onwards, all the GLaDOS lines you're going to hear are completely fabricated minus some rare exceptions. While the set of lines in the following sequence includes some that were heard in Karen Prell's Animated Adventures in Portal 2 showcase, those are officially some of the last real 2009 GLaDOS lines we are aware of.
Okay, so these are made up.
Wait a minute, I remember something. I think I used to be bigger. There was a party. Something happened with food. Starts with a C. Gasp, cereal. Oh my god. I am at the cereal factory, and my life is in danger. Quickly. Whatever it was you found, get me another. We need to get the hell out of here, before they find me looking like this.
I mean, I have no clue whether that was an actual line, but it does sound like something a broken GLaDOS would say. Sorry, just having a drink of water. Slow fields, okay.
Slow fields. While an interesting concept, we had a lot of difficulty designing chambers around them, as you'll hear in a later commentary note in the mix-up course. What will stand out most here is that there are only 2 chambers in the entire Slowfield course, and there is a reason for this. When looking through Robot Repair's list of internal Portal 2 level files, there is only one single map that references the Slowfields, named Slowfield_Eric_1. However, the vscript that controls the Slowfields references 2 test chambers. We saw this to mean that the Slowfield course likely did not receive much more iteration, leaving us with only 2 confirmed test chambers in existence that use this mechanic. Poor Slowfields.
I would guess that it's like that because, like, the concept just didn't really work. So they never developed it very far, I would guess is why there's only a couple.
There is one single leftover piece of post-hub dialogue for GLaDOS written by Valve, wherein she'd say the sentence,
You have just experienced an Aperture Science self-esteem field, which temporarily increases your reaction time.
We originally intended to include this line. However, the script that plays it is actually set to play it incredibly sped up and on loop until the player hits the slow field, in which it swaps to playing a version that's slightly slowed down. On paper, this sounded like a cute way to showcase how the slow field works, but playtesting found it to be incredibly irritating while they tried to work out how to reach the slow field. It's like having a fly buzz around your ear. So we ended up cutting it.
It does sound cool, but I can see why that would be annoying. Man, that feels cool though. That was epic. I can see why they, like, also, the thing with, like, developing those fast reaction times, it kind of, like, rewards players that can do it very quickly, but I think those slow fields would be annoying, especially in Portal speedrunning. I'd guess in Portal 2 speedrunning, if they had the slow fields, people would have tried to find a way around using them, because it would be inconvenient. Okay, well, I completely missed that. Alright, so if we do that, and then...
One of the only tangible remnants of a Slowfield puzzle we have is a platform in a co-op level that tries to attach itself to a non-existent entity, confirming a level name in the form of Dual Fling, and that it had a lift platform. And yes, that was all the material we had to work with when creating this chamber.
This is a cool concept, but I can see why it wasn't used. This is kind of dumb.
Slowfield seemed to be one of the ideas Valve came up with early on, then promptly abandoned after struggling with making puzzles for it. However, unlike other scrap testing elements, Slowfields did see a second revision. This new version was called Slow Time. Instead of requiring a physical field, Slow Time was a simple button press by the player, allowing them to slow down time at will for a short period in any approved chambers. Tested sometime in 2010, the mechanic seemed to be easier to use for Valve's puzzle designers, given Robot Repair showed at least 4 puzzles requiring that, double that of the Slowfield. But this new mechanic was not meant to be either, and was ultimately scrapped.
Is that the plan? Or is it using the same sound as the airboat from Half-Life 2? Oh, this is a rat magnet in the final game. If you come up to this wall in the final game, you can hear ramblings. Okay, so what else was
The Portal 2 team found themselves struggling greatly in 2008. They were initially trying to create a follow-up prequel to the first Portal game using a totally different mechanic that just wasn't sticking. However, a saving grace came in the form of Portal Still Alive, a small-scale project intended to fulfill an exclusivity deal Valve had signed with Microsoft for the Xbox Live Arcade. According to Josh Weir, working on Still Alive reinvigorated the team's spark, convincing them to drop the f-stop mechanic in favor of exploring the portal gun more in depth with a proper sequel. It's no surprise then, with such a monumental shift in project direction that ultimately worked out in the end, that the development team experimented with cheeky nods to the levels of Still Alive. Most likely as a roundabout way to thank the original Flash version map pack for giving them that spark to try Portal 2 anew.
Yeah, it's very cool that they were inspired by mods.
A Restless named SP Destroyed Still Alive appears to reveal that sometime during 2009, the Still Alive bonus chambers 11 and 8 featured in Portal 2, with the specific assets loaded indicating the player traversed through nearly the entirety of 11 in particular. We don't know where exactly this would have placed in the game, or even if it was anything seriously considered. But we felt like the most natural place to slot it in was during a behind-the-scenes breakout sequence, and the Slowfield course needed some more substance in comparison to the others.
This is weird. I'm really enjoying this though. I doubt any of the developers of this mod will be watching this, but like really well done. This is very cool. Anything through here? Oh, it's the... Oh, yeah. Oh, okay, so this is another... Oh, yeah, every single one of these, like, core rooms are laid out the same.
aquarium. 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 I wanna go to the aquarium. Aquarium. Aquarium.
It's the aquarium core. Okay, so it has a Portal 2 design. It's not the Portal 1 design.
The developer commentary for Portal 2 mentions that the shielding circle of panels that GLaDOS uses to block you from reaching the stalemate resolution button once guarded a personality core instead. This is that setup replicated.
Aquarium. The aquarium core was inspired by an Oregon Coast aquarium advertisement that became an inside joke with Valve at the time. It is faithfully recreated here. Please enjoy the soothing sounds of the aquarium core.
I am loving the sounds of the aquarium core.
Aquarium.
So, those who don't know, the aquarium core became the space core.
Hey, I wanna go to the aquarium.
Hence, it's very, you know,
I wanna go to the aquarium.
enthusiastic.
Aquarium.
The
I wanna go to
aquarium.
the aquarium. I wanna go to the aquarium. I wanna go. I wanna go. Hey, aquarium. Hey. Hey, I wanna go to the aquarium.
Look, that
Aquarium.
is really cool, seeing the Portal
Aquarium.
1 and 2
Hey, I wanna
cores next
go to the
each other.
aquarium.
Core accepted. Please return to the main chamber. Crackers. Fish-shaped crackers. That was it. What was I thinking, assuming we'd have a party all about cereal? In any case, whatever you plugged into me, I need more of it. I am beginning to feel more like myself. Here, I will tell the system to open the next door. While you test, I will be busy converting a break room into a wonderful exhibit of marine life. Now, go get me another. I
She
promise I
wants-
will make it all up to you.
I know these aren't like actual lines, but the marine life line is quite funny considering you just plugged in the aquarium core. Catapults. Sure is. So the aerial faith plates, basically. Oh, this is basically the same test that's in the final game. The only thing that's different is the faith plates that are different. It also doesn't play the cool music, the boopy dippy dippy doo, as you're like going through the air. Then, have I missed any developer column commentary? I can't see any. Oh, there's some.
It was really hard to work out standalone catapult chambers, as Valve
this is
didn't
at the
really
beginning of the
depict
game.
that many in Portal 2 before they'd start mixing in other test elements. This test chamber is one of our few that we've had to create, choosing to base this one on a combination of Future Starter from the final campaign and a res list of a catapult-only test chamber named SP Catapult Fling Intro. Expect to see more of these mixed in with levels that are either taken from the leaked dev test map, such as the one at the start of this course, or downgraded versions of levels seen in the final game that we could confirm existed this far back.
Yeah, so in the, like, Portal 2 version of this map, there's a big hole in the floor here, and you have to use momentum instead of the aerial faith blades. There's also a section with a cube over here. But other than that, the level is
It was
very
really
similar.
hard to work out
Oh, okay, yeah,
standalone.
I heard you. Oh, what am I doing? Wait, is this the level with the trash? Is this like a early version of the level where the trash comes out? I think it is. guess I'll just put one there for now.
When we backported the Portal 1 cube for our mod, we brought it over 1-to-1 with no modifications, which was fine until we got reports from playtesters who struggled to complete the catapult course. While the cubes are small enough to fit through portals under normal conditions, the cubes are actually wider than portals if you measure them from corner to corner. Thanks to the angular impulses imparted by the catapults, cubes would frequently enter portals at just the wrong angle, leading to the corners of the cube snagging on the solid walls around the portals. This issue was painfully inescapable in this chamber, where the cube's graceful journey to the exit would abruptly end, with the cube ricocheting off of the player's portals, requiring the player to carry the cube through the chamber manually. Valve did reduce the cube size for the final game, likely because of this exact issue we were facing ourselves, but we struggled to find evidence of the cube size being reduced before its model was overhauled in early 2010. Every screenshot we found featuring the Portal 1 cube showed it at its original, unmodified scale. As a compromise, we chopped off the corners of the cube's physics mesh to stop it from snagging.
Oh, I was wondering.
It may be inaccurate, but it fixed the issue, preserving the player's puzzle-solving experience without contradicting the facts we do know about the cube from Portal 2's development.
That's quite cool. It's also very cool being able to see the geometry of everything. Oh, this is a level from the co-op campaign, isn't it? I might be completely wrong.
Yes, this is that chamber from the cooperative campaign that
Yep,
can be
there you go.
solved solo. The sole reason why it's here is because it has many 2009 geometry-style remnants. Yes, we were desperate. Don't take this as gospel that this level definitely existed in 2009 as a single-player level.
Oh shit. It's been so long since I played the co-op campaign, I literally can't remember what the fuck to do here. But there is an obvious solution to get up to that platform. Wait. What? Oh, bro, shit, yeah, I'm done. I feel like I'm doing this wrong. Maybe it's just because of how the map's been altered. This must be an early version of the neurotoxin level, or at least that's what I called it. It just, the layout looks similar. I suppose not, but I feel like there should be like a bridge here. I don't know. Maybe I'm just making shit up.
This is one of the only times in Project 2009 that we completely made up a level with no res list or robot repair reference to base it off
Okay,
of.
this is just made up then.
Instead, we based this level off of a strange wall catapult design that only features in the second half of the prior comp level that we removed, being a Soku Shield model that was mounted onto a piston.
Oh, epic. Okay, this is this is cool. These tests are getting progressively more intense. Oh, whoa, that did not go where I expected it to. What the fuck? Okay, what can I do with this? Okay, I guess I'll just go with that for now. Oh, I see. Yeah, so I can use that to get up there. So I can just... Yeah, I really want to get that piece of dialogue. Just gonna... Yeah. And then if I can go like that...
A level we only had a map name for from Robot Repair, we chose to make this the grand finale of the Catapult course, as the prospect of basing the chamber around some kind of central tower that would mark the exit of the test chamber sounded really interesting, and fits with Valve's level design philosophy with Portal 2 of making the player feel like they've achieved something really cool.
I'll get that just because it's the cube. Alright. So, yeah, so then just like that, and then I'll put one there. What is that? Oh, okay. Oh, so maybe I place one on that platform? Okay, I agree with the developer actually that was really cool. So this is going to be another core. All these rooms are laid out the same, the ones that have the core.
In Portal 2, the entity used for cores is called NPC Personality Core. The NPC doesn't do much on its own, as it utilizes scene files and scripting, allowing for a rich, handcrafted performance from Valve's animators. However, earlier in development, Valve used a different entity, Prop Personality Sphere. This entity is more or less an expanded version of Portal 1's Prop GLaDOS core, which was used for the 4 cores in its final fight. The new entity includes a Richard and Aquarium core type, in addition to the 4 core types from Portal 1. These 2 new core types are able to feel pain, comment on the player's actions, and, if given the proper targets, respond dynamically to the environment. During the mod's development, we opted to use the NPC instead, as the prop was left in a bad state in the final game. It was given the newer personality sphere model and stripped of its animations. We decided to try various methods to get the NPC to behave like the prop, such as VScript or the NPC's custom responses. Turret voice lines were used as a placeholder while testing the latter, but it was soon found that the NPC's responses were left in a bad state as well. This led to a bug that caused every sphere using this system to repeatedly play turret activation sounds. It sounded something like this. In the end, newer advancements allowed us to fix the original prop entity Valve had used, thankfully saving us from the turret cores.
I think turret cores were a thing at one point. It's interesting that he says turret cores, because they did have an idea for like cores that would be turrets, I'm pretty sure. Okay, so this is another Portal 1 looking core. This is blue, so this is basically Wheatley, or the crazy core at least. Oh, okay. Okay, buddy. Can I use that to like... Yeah.
1 18.25
Yeah, it's got the crazy
packaged
cool lines.
chocolate cake mix, 1 can prepared coconut pecan frosting, 3/4 cup vegetable oil, 4 large eggs, 1 cup semi-sweet chocolate chips, 3/4 cup butter or margarine, 1 2/3 cups granulated sugar, 2 cups all-purpose flour. Don't forget garnishes such as fish-shaped crackers, fish-shaped candy, fish-shaped solid waste,
If you listen
fish-shaped
to this
dirt,
guy for long enough, he starts
fish-shaped
talking
ethyl
about like blood
benzene,
and stuff.
pull and peel licorice.
Core accepted. Please return to the main chamber.
It's very cool seeing all these cores like come together. I kind of wish that they were all speaking at the same time. I know it would be chaos, but it would be quite funny to hear. Oh, it's just a reflection. I'm just gonna take a little look at this from the outside. Very big area. I could turn on full bright, but I'm not gonna do that.
Rhubarb. Rhubarb. Fish-shaped crackers and rhubarb. Oh, sorry. I am just thinking about what ingredients I will need to get in the event I decide to bake a delicious cake.
Okay, so
Why
she's
am I
cracked
thinking
cake
about
now.
that? Oh, I don't know. Maybe we will find out together. It's all feeling so oddly familiar, like I've done all this before. Well, whatever it is, I am willing to bet the answer lies behind this next door. Good luck.
I like this Portal 1 room as well. Okay, so yeah, the turret thing is there, yeah. So... just gonna place my balls in the same place that I placed them if I was killing GLaDOS. Just go like that, bang. This is so cool to see in Portal 2. Like, so many other things. The incinerator over there. If I was doing like a Portal run, speed run, I would be putting, oh no, it doesn't exist here. There's like these things in the floor, and there's one of them you can kind of like shoot straight through, and it allows you to drop the core straight in the incinerator, like skipping, going over to the incinerator. Okay, so this is light bridges now. The light bridges do have a different texture, I believe. I don't think they look like this in the final game. They also sound different. But this is almost identical to a chamber in the final game. In fact, I think it is, other than the fact there is no Ratman in.
The light bridges are a direct evolution of the blue plasma fields first seen in Portal the Flash version. They were adapted into the map pack remake, and then finally ended up in Portal Still Alive with a brand new texture. When it came time to create mechanics for Portal 2, Valve took the blue plasma field and created what they named the projected walls, turning these fields from a stationary blocker to something that the player could place anywhere with their portals. We knew from E3 footage that the bridges used the texture of the blue plasma field from Still Alive, but we never saw what their emitters would have looked like before they received a unique model. Looking back at their Still Alive origins, reusing the model of the Fizzler emitters made sense as a placeholder, in the same vein as lasers using pellet models.
Oh, I love this. This is great. I know this isn't like exactly how the beta would be, but it's so close. They did such a good job. Oh fuck! Okay, that was my bad. That was my bad. I died in the Portal beta. Crazy. Now I've actually got my bearings. I can do it. I think it's throwing me off a bit because, like, usually places you place balls have like a target on them. Obviously, that isn't here.
Valve really wanted to use light bridges in the same way as Still Alive used its blue plasma fields, to the point they developed an entire level dedicated to showing players that it was possible to shoot portals through bridges. They would even record GLaDOS dialogue in 2010 to really make sure players knew. Here's that line.
You know, I'm not supposed to do this, but you can shoot something through the blue bridges.
We are not a 2010 remake though, so we can't use this line. And we also don't know any of what the level entails beyond the core concept. So this level is the best hypothetical restoration we got.
Interesting that we do still have that voice line though. That's cool. Okay, this is another level that's in the final game. There's a Ratman then up there in it. Yeah, so you can see, like, with the features that they can't, there's a lot less to go off of. I mean, it makes sense. It's kind of a dumb thing to say, but whatever.
A res-listed level is named SP Climb for LOS, which means to climb for line of sight. This chamber only featured toxic goo and a light bridge, so we decided to make a level that takes advantage of being able to repeatedly shoot your portal in such a way that the light bridge raises you, so that you can eventually gain visibility of other portal surfaces.
Oh yeah, I was doing that earlier. Honestly, I wouldn't have thought that in this level though, so... Glad it said that.
Another res-list we recreated, SP Angled Bridge. This level also only contained a light bridge and toxic goo. I wonder if you could spot a trend. Because of 2009 still being when Portal 2 was finding its footing, it makes sense that there would be levels that were more so experimenting with ideas rather than full-blown puzzles. A good example of this being shoot through bridges.
Yeah, this really is just like a concept, isn't it? I mean, you can really see them like trying to figure out like in real time how this shit works. You know, it's cool to look at. This is very similar to Chamber 18 in Portal 1.
Yet another resless level. This one referred to as SP Turret Islands.
Hello.
This level contains a light bridge, toxic goo, and, hey, turrets and platforms? This level actually loads all of the assets required for the Test Chamber 18 turret setup, and given the name Turret Islands, it made enough sense that this level would likely feature a similar goal of needing to destroy all the turrets before you can reach the exit. Only now, you're using yourself and a light bridge, rather than an energy pellet.
Yeah, that can see me. So I just go like that.
Goodbye, please put me down.
No. I'm kind of worried about getting stuck there. Oh, okay. Oh, hi. She literally appears in my face. I kind of like how it's like slightly buggy. It's charming, you know. Like it's like it's like it really is a beta. Oh, okay, we're gonna get another core now. I wonder which core it's gonna be. It's just the anger core.
While we could be sure thanks to Robot Repair's listing that the laser, slow field, and catapult courses all had their very own distinct rooms, the same could not be said for the wall course. There was no wall core room in the list, only a generic core room, presumably used for placeholder reasons. This is why you're seeing a repeat of the catapult core room, as we figured it was the most fun of the core rooms to play. Being realistic, the generic version was likely something more in the vein of the laser core room.
All the voices they did a really good job of being fucking annoying.
Core accepted. Please return to the main chamber.
I wonder how far I am through. How long have I been recording? 2 hours. I'm not gonna cut this down at all. I'm not gonna
I
edit it.
understand now. I remember everything that happened, but there is still something missing. I want to let you go, but I need to ask you to do one more favor for me. There is one last module behind this final door. You have done very, very well so far. I could almost call myself proud of you. But, before I can write that in your permanent testing record, I need you to bring me the part at the end of this course. We have come so far together. If you can get me this, I promise I will let you go. No tricks. In fact, there might even be a cake waiting for you when you are done.
It's
But
just
be
definitely
careful.
not gonna let you go.
The tests behind that door are very dangerous. You will need to use everything you have learned to survive. Good luck.
So there are 9 receptacles for cores, but obviously only 5 doors to testing tracks. I wonder what the discrepancy is there, because they said earlier that 6 was the goal. Then why are there 9 receptacles? Oh no, this is the neurotoxin level. Yeah, so this is the one that would have the Ratman Den there, but we went to the Ratman Den earlier.
Certain chambers in the final game can leave breadcrumbs behind as to where they were located during this era of development. For instance, the cube in this chamber is named Laser Cube Wall Mix-Up Start Cube. Now, this is the most overt reference in the final game, but there are others. For example, we have Room 6 Laser in Laser vs. Turrets, and Room 8 Laser and Laser Relays for the Laser course, Projector 1 in Bridge Intro, and Projector 3 in Bridge the Gap for the Wall course, Projector 1 in Pull the Rug, and Projector 3 in Stop the Box for the Mix-Up course. These entities were given names like these by Valve due to courses containing many puzzles in a single map. While these names are helpful for organization, they also allow the entities to be turned off after the player leaves their respective chamber, saving on resources.
I think I'm doing this wrong. Okay. That is not in a good position. Okay, I'm definitely doing this wrong. What the? So then... Yeah, so... yeah, okay.
Slowfield Marathon is one of the first levels recreated for Project 2009, dating back to the very origins of the project. It's based on a file name called SP Catapult Marathon, which was conspicuously placed inside a folder named Require Slow Time. While that map was intended to be used with the slow time mechanic, we decided to adapt the idea for a Slowfield puzzle instead due to the mechanical similarity. Thus, we designed this puzzle around being a marathon run of catapults that utilized the slow field, ensuring players would have the reaction time necessary to pull off some cool feeling moves.
I would feel much cooler in full time though. Oh fuck. Portal.
Featured very briefly in a lesser-known Portal 2 showcase at Gamescom 2010, what we believe to be titled Catapult Course based on a res list is one of the only times we've ever seen a Valve-designed puzzle use an angled light bridge. However, we only saw a partial view of the test chamber. There was very clearly more. What we've designed here is our best interpretation of what the full puzzle might have been.
Okay. Ooh. I'm actually getting stumped there. Oh, only for seconds though.
Out of all the mechanics in Project 2009, Slowfield was the most problematic for us in terms of mapping. Compared to other mechanics like lasers or projected walls, we had very little information regarding how Slowfields were intended to be used by Valve, let alone the puzzles that featured them. So, when we needed to fill gaps in the Slowfield and mix-up courses, we had no choice but to come up with our own chambers from scratch. Given the unconventional nature of Slowfield as a mechanic, it took us a lot of trial and error to come up with the puzzles you see here in the final mod. Throughout all that iteration, we figured out two key design principles that helped us to design Slowfield chambers that were satisfying to play. Firstly, make the chamber gimmicky. Slowfield does not fit the slower methodical style of Portal's puzzles. It is, by design, a rule of cool gimmick mechanic that tests the player's reaction time more so than their ability to plan ahead. As a result, the Slowfield chambers we'd built upon the gimmickiness of the mechanic, chambers that primarily force the player to react to oncoming danger, were far more engaging for playtesters and level designers than trying to shove the mechanic into a typical Portal-style puzzle. For example, this chamber started with the core concept of player destroys turrets with lasers while flying through the air. The layout was then carefully crafted to funnel the player towards performing said action, using the extra step of fetching the cube to teach the player the fling maneuver and thus drum up anticipation for the big moment itself. Secondly, the less the player has to do while slowed down, the better. The extra leeway provided by Slowfields ensures players of all skill levels can perform any difficult, time-critical action the chamber throws at them, but the Slowfield does not provide enough leeway for the player to perform more than one action. In the initial draft of this chamber, the catapult was an angled portal panel, the idea being that the player would use portals to put themselves in an infinite fling loop, using subsequent loops to redirect the laser at the turrets and then fling themselves towards the exit. On paper, it sounded like a perfect gimmick for a Slowfield chamber. In practice, however, the simple act of letting go of the cube and shooting a portal and grabbing the cube, all while in midair under the Slowfield's strict time limit, was too much to pull off, let alone difficult to indicate as the intended puzzle solution. So, we streamlined the fling, replacing the portal surface with a catapult, allowing players to focus primarily on placing a portal or redirecting the laser, as well as giving them plenty of time to appreciate the fruits of their turret slaughter.
I gotta say, I know I didn't do that last chamber correctly, but I did not like the chamber. That sucked. This is like a recreation of the test where Wheatley comes back and the return, and GLaDOS tells you that you're fat, basically. Really?
Sphere Peak is a strange level in that we're always finding new things about its old iterations. One of the most peculiar finds was an indicator line facing out of bounds that is intended to be on the cube dropper. The only way that sense could be made of this indicator line was if the entire region with the dropper and laser was rotated 180 degrees, which is what you're seeing now. It kind of looks disgusting, but frankly, we've seen worse from 2009 Portal 2.
It doesn't look as bad as the last chamber. Bro, the last chamber sucked balls. Wow, this chamber is very familiar. This is almost identical.
This is one of many maps with the design taken straight from the final game, but with one notable omission. The final version of this chamber has laser relays on all the platforms, which guide the player on where to redirect the laser. However, our version doesn't have these relays, as Entity ID searching reveals that the laser relays are one of the last elements added to the map. This meant that for accuracy reasons, we had to remove them. In playtesting, players who were less familiar with the final game struggled a lot with this chamber, not knowing where they needed to redirect their laser. This last-minute change from Valve shows how crucial laser relays can be to test chamber design, acting as a visual indicator to players where their laser needs to go.
That's interesting. It does make sense. Like, I don't think I'd be able to solve this if I didn't already know where I was supposed to be going. Yeah, let's... Oh, I got... Is that going straight? Yeah. I don't know what, I'm just thinking that. Where is it? Oh! Okay, this is one of the levels from later in the game, after Wheatley takes over the facility.
Goodbye.
Is there any commentary here?
Sentry mode activated.
Shit, I didn't get the cube. Okay, that was stupid. There we go. Wait, that didn't place. Ah.
Deploying. Target lost.
Yep, this is another one from the final game. You can trap yourself in this chamber.
Uh-oh.
wonder if you can still... If I trap myself in this room, will it... Does it have the thing that lets me get out?
Deploying. Searching. Searching. Deploying. There you are. Target, are you still there?
No. Okay, I'm sure they thought about it, but yeah, you can, yeah. So now I'm completely trapped, but no clip. I'm not trying to get revenge. Okay, this is another one straight out of the final game. Is that there in the final game?
Column Blocker from Portal 2 is one of the rare few levels that we actually have the raw map sources for, provided to us by Valve in the Portal 2 authoring tools. In the scripts for Column Blocker is a disabled handrail, much like the one preventing you from walking into the goo on the right of the test chamber. Only, it was seemingly placed in the middle of the wide open floor. Given the use of handrails was to prevent players from walking right into goo, we took this as a sign to extend the goo pit further into the level, only providing the necessary space for the puzzle to still function.
I know I have God mode on for some reason. I mean, I didn't turn it on, but I don't seem to be dying from targets. Oh, no, I am now. Okay. Oh, is it one... Okay, while the developer commentary's playing, I don't think I can die. Whoa, this is entirely new.
Laser Relay Bridges was another map that we only had the name of, so we had a lot of creative freedom designing the puzzle. Before the final idea was landed on, the puzzle we had for Laser Relay Bridges involved supporting 3 redirection cubes on a light bridge in a small box-like chamber. This was pretty uninteresting to solve, so the puzzle was completely redesigned to revolve around firing a light bridge and a laser through a portal together, much like the final puzzle. It still took a while to get the final puzzle design though. The redesigned version originally spanned across 2 rooms, and featured turrets and pillars that you would take care of using the laser. The layout was later condensed down to make the puzzle as a whole easier to see, and the turrets removed to improve its pacing.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, because then I can go like that. It's great seeing these, like, just brand new chambers I've never played. So where does the cube go? Oh no, it's not cube, it's a redirection cube. That? And then maybe... Oh, no, wait. This is... Oh, this is actually quite difficult. Wait, something's moving. What the fuck is moving? I can hear it, but I can't see it. Is it this one? No. Yeah, it is. What is moving? Okay, so maybe here. Yeah, that's correct, because then I go up here. I can go that. And then just shove it back in place. Yes. You see, that was a good chamber. I like that. That feels like something that would be in like Portal Story's mouth. Wow, this is a really long testing track compared to the other ones.
And so we finally arrive at the Morgan Freeman sphere. Or is it the Paranoid sphere? Which is he? It turns out this separation literally did not exist. There was only the Richard core type, named after Richard Lord, an animator on Portal 2. There never was a Morgan Freeman sphere implemented as it was envisioned. The Richard sphere was effectively the Paranoid sphere up until they started experimenting with giving the player a companion throughout the entire intro. He may not be the same as the GDC footage, which utilized a Portal 1 core model, but this is him alright. Enjoy seeing how he reacts to the world around him.
I can reassure you of that. Oh, let them stand a chance. They've got no clue what they're in for. Oh, I'd love to see someone getting here. I'd dearly love to see that, because it ain't possible. Ugh. Right now, or I'll do something you'll regret.
I love his
You've
weird
got no
voice.
brains, lady. You got not a single clue who your bloody Ugh. I know very much that you are prepared for the terrible consequences of me going mental, which I swear to God is this close to occurring right now.
The terrible consequences of him going mental.
Bloody oh. That's it. Alright, you know what? Keep going. The traps I set will make short work of you. Put me down first. Oh. You're bloody joking. Oh. You think you know what's coming? I'll tear you to bloody pieces. You got one last chance. Put me down or you'll face the wrath of me when I'm mental. I've got nothing to lose, lady. Do it. Oh, come on. Are you kidding me? Again? Give it a rest.
I love it.
Oh, down here, lady. Oh, you're making a big mistake. I got Put me down. This is a really bad idea. Oh boy. Let's just go home. They're gonna kill both of us. Come on. Oh my god. You've been warned, lady.
Is he trying to do like a Morgan
We're
Freeman
so
voice?
much
Because it
trouble.
just comes across as like some really pervy British
Your
wanker.
idea, lady. No! Oh, turn out! You're killing me! Oh my god. You're not getting it, lady. Turn back.
Wait, so actually, because we usually come from that direction,
Turn back.
just
Let's
have a little
go
look.
home. We're in so much. Oh, we're in. They're gonna kill both of us. We're in so much trouble. I do not like this one bit. We're in deep trouble. This is a
Exactly why I
really
like
bad
being more
idea.
in deep.
I do not like this one bit.
When you plug the final core in, the game will suddenly fade to black with an end of playtest screen, before playing smooth jazz and popping up an exit image. This is the exact descriptor Josh Weir gives in A Profound Waste of Time issue number 4, of how the Portal 2 Overwatch demo ended. What exactly an Overwatch demo entails is effectively an internal showcase to Valve's Overwatch, a group of higher-ups which tend to determine the wider company's interest in if a project should be developed further. Unfortunately, there was no full ending for 2009 Portal 2 planned, and there likely never was beyond a vague notion like GLaDOS would have let you leave Aperture after you helped rebuild her. Shortly after October 2009, Wheatley was introduced to the game, and the story began to shift and change to accommodate for his presence, officially marking the end of the Core Hub era, and, with that, the end of Project 2009's recreated campaign. We at Increw Software thank you for playing Project 2009. We hope you had fun, and we hope you learned something new today.
I did learn something new. I mean, this has been really good, but I really wish I knew what the fuck was up with the rest of these. With the smooth jazz sound. This was the actual ending. Brilliant. This has been really cool. I mean, I'm gonna let the credits play out while I talk, but I mean, it's been great to actually kind of see what the general idea was for this. I mean, it really was a playtest. Like they said, there was never any full conclusion to the Core Hub era. It was an idea generated, and it did go somewhere. I mean, it developed the idea for the co-op. The co-op wouldn't have existed without this. Well, I'm sure co-op would have existed, but it wouldn't have been the same hub idea. Oh, Tyler McVicker, my guy. Yeah, but really cool. I'm just trying to think of other thoughts. I'm sure that this is going to be developed further. Oh, the museum. I forgot about this. They said about this at the beginning of the game. And to the right if you're interested in learning more about how we developed the mod. The archaeological section focuses on Portal 2's development, as well as going into more detail on how we figured out certain things. The recreational section, recreational or recreational section shows development material from 2009 itself, including concept sketches, model remakes, and a lot of in-jokes. Alternatively, if you just want to play some bonus maps, go to the left. Oh look, it's one of those pneumatic tubes. Wow, okay. There's a lot here. I'm gonna have a look at it. Auxilia Flowers Shame. Oh yeah, no, this was the bit where he said he had to spend hours just on this one corner. Wow, okay, so that shows the kind of corpse GLaDOS, but that's inside the Half-Life room where the resonance cascade happens. So obviously they were using that as kind of a test. That's interesting. That's fucked up. I don't want to see G-Man at the best of times, certainly like that. So we got corpse GLaDOSes here. Cool seeing the design. Bud! Oh yeah, I can see where they got the idea for some of these. Oh no, this is just taking straight from the chamber. I'm dumb. This pink liquid. I'll click the down button. It just turns them pink, okay. Looks like the chair's been dipped too. I'm not going in the exit yet. Okay, so this is a little bit of the history of it. So I'm quite interested what happens on after this. Valve announces Portal 2 to the world. Experiments of having multiple cores in Portal 2's storyline. Second major public showcase of Portal 2's storyline starts to shift to weekly. Portal 2 begins to coalesce into the final game piece by piece. Awesome. Seen in dev test is the very original connecting world portal hallway that Valve utilised over the post-hub courses, but very modified and broken. This exhibit displays the original condition of the portal door hall found in the dev test before it was restored for Project 2009. Oh, so this thing here, yeah. So this is the thing I was having a look at Outbounds earlier. Oh, we do have a companion cube. Wait, and an ashtray. I could see it hasn't been smoking. So these are actual pictures from the test. But I'm guessing that this here is the turret cores that I was talking about earlier. Okay, this is more still alive stuff. Oh, you can scroll down. Wait. Okay. Come on, let me get it. Don't do that to me. Wow, so much detail here. Look at them chilling out. It's got the Space Core animations. Old BTS ball. Oh, okay. Love all these arrows. I don't seem to be able to scroll on this one. It's a shame. That is very, very cool. So I could play through the bonus levels. I don't think I'll be doing that tonight, just because this recording is already approaching 3 hours long. But this is very, very cool. To whoever, to like everyone that made this possible, well done. I mean, this must have been such a tremendous amount of work for you guys to do. But 100% worth it. This is a piece of history right here. It's fantastic that I can actually have a look around at what could have been, you know? And I can see it's much easier to tell why they got rid of some concepts when you actually play them, you know? Stuff like the slowdown mechanic. It just, I mean, it's cool, but it just doesn't work, you know? And when it sounds awesome, when you're actually playing it, it just doesn't work, like I said. I know that you've probably just finished this and are probably still working on it with new voice lines and stuff, but it would be really cool, if possible, to see what 2010 came up with, what was got rid of, what stayed the same, you know, would be epic. I mean, hopefully it doesn't take you another 3-4 years if you're going to do that, because this must have just been hell at some point. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. Some things that I thought of while I was going through this was, I know at one point there was meant to be adhesion gel and reflection gel. Ooh, I wonder if that was part of the 2010 part of stuff, because I've played community maps where they get adhesion gel and reflection gel working. It would be really good to have a look at what some of the levels that included that would have been. Or maybe there were no levels, maybe they were always just ideas that were used. It was also interesting to see the Morgan Freeman sphere was never really a distinct thing, because when people think of the Core Hub era, I think the Morgan Freeman sphere comes to mind for most people. It's that and the Aquarium Core. I can't remember 100%, but I know that the Aquarium Core, one of the reasons we know it existed is because there's a section where a pipe walks in front of you and breaks the ground just before Wheatley tries to kill you, and it tries to spawn in the corn from a previous sequence. It would have been quite cool to see that sequence recreated. I know that sequence was supposed to be more of an Easter egg after the aquarium core was cut, but maybe in this bonus section we could have that, or maybe if we do get a 2010 remake, we could have some of that as well. I'm sure I got plenty more things that I could think about, and I will most likely be exploring this much further, because I'm sure there's stuff that I missed, like, maybe even out of bounds, how things are actually working, and I'm probably missed some commentary as well. If anyone's actually watching this, let me know if I did miss any commentary. Yeah, my final note would be, if anyone wants to see me play the bonus levels, or like this kind of thing, then tell me, and I'll do some more editing and get this more polished in future. But for now, I'm gonna take this exit out. We'll see where it leads me. Well, that's the end. Congratulations one more time to the people who made this possible. It's fucking fantastic, and I hope to see more from all of you. Special thanks to Aussie Flow. I would not have even known that this existed without Aussie Flow's channel. Bye bye.